Sean Parr, Ian Baker, and of course, from the Fit RV, we've got James and Steph with us once again. Now we're going to talk about this amazing Class B, and we've talked health and fitness, we've talked biking, but let's get into the winter since we're sitting here in beautiful Utah. We've got snow-capped mountains. I know you guys like to ski. Take us through this beautiful Class B as we start talking about skiing.
Okay, I guess it's kind of a misconception, we think, with people that you can't go RVing in the winter. We love to go RVing in the winter. Yes. It is a fantastic place, time to go out, and there's not so many people out, so you got a lot more things to yourself. And we've been winter camping in a Travato, like this one that you're showing here. One of the things we liked about the Travato is that it is front-wheel drive. It handles extremely well. It handles just like a car.
Yeah, I'm really comfortable driving it. Our camper van before the Travato was an old Sprinter, and that was a lot harder to handle. When we got this, I felt like I was driving my car. So
we would actually have arguments about who got to drive, not who had to drive. So, and to take something like the Travato winter camping, really, we found all we need is just a good set of snow tires. Yeah. And we're good to go. Our Travato has never let us down to get anywhere we wanted to get in the snow. One of the things you do need to be prepared for with winter camping, though, is that everything is going to be more difficult to do in the winter. So you just need to be prepared for that. Like here, we're seeing there's a propane cooktop right there. So this rig has propane. Mm-hmm. And you need to be prepared for propane to be a little more difficult to find in the winter. In fact, we were someplace outside of Bryce Canyon
National Park. We ran out of propane. It was like 0 degrees out. And we stopped at a gas station. They tried to help us get propane from their tank, but it was frozen. So we couldn't get
the propane had frozen. It had been like 13 below the night before. The propane was just frozen. There was no getting propane. So not that that's a bad thing. You just need to be prepared. You need to plan for it. So, and then we're seeing the sink right there in the kitchen, in the galley there, there's a decent sink. Yeah. Water can be one of the tough points for winter camping. You need to basically be prepared. You need to know your rig. You need to know where your tanks are. Is your fresh tank outside? Is it inside? What plumbing lines are outside the rig? What's inside? You need to have that knowledge. And once you've got that knowledge, you can plan smart. You can say, well, my freshwater lines in this rig, they're all inside. You could actually use this plumbing in the winter, which is one of the things we like about the Travato, by the way, is that all the plumbing lines are inside. Now, the waste tanks will be outside.
Right.
So, but the plumbing lines will be in. So if you had a Travato, you would think, okay, well, I can still use fresh water. I may have to worry about when I need to go dump my tanks.
Right.
Because that is on the outside, but fresh water, I'm good to go. So that's something else you need to consider winter camping. What else is in this galley? This is a Travato K.
Yeah, this is the model we took on our national parks tour in 2019. So we're very familiar with the Travato K that you're seeing here. One of the things we love about this is just how spacious it feels and those huge twin beds there. And they actually can make into a giant bed too.
Nice. So we back when there were RV shows in person, we would go to a lot of RV shows and we would just gravitate. We would find ourselves hanging out with the Travatos because we had one, it was camaraderie, people to talk to. And without fail, the first thing that people would notice when they would walk into this Travato K floor plan is how open and spacious it feels. Right. Because a lot of people are worried, like, I'm going to be living in a van,
It'll feel closed in. But this floor plan does not feel closed in at all. It's a great use of space with all the windows.
I totally agree with you guys. One of the things I love about this layout when you have the twin beds is not only is it an open shot, right, and you have all that space, but also for packing. If you have longer items like doing winter camping, going skiing, you have a place to put those skis as well if you don't want to put them outside.
True, true. A lot of people will travel with bikes and then they'll just decamp the bikes to the outside when they do it. And there's even storage in the K floor plan there under the bed on the passenger's side. There is a rather large storage compartment that's pretty long. I don't remember exactly how many inches long it was, but it's a pretty decent size.
The bed flips up and you've got storage under that bed there.
There we go. Oh, there we go.
How beautiful is that? That's perfect.
popped up super easy, and there's the storage.
And how about
So yeah.
how about the comfort of the bed when you guys laid in them? I know they have like the Froley system on there. Did you find that it was nicer than most of the other RV mattresses out there that you laid on, or did you have to go
Yeah,
out and replace it, or what was your feeling on it?
No, we didn't replace it at
Yeah,
all.
we loved it. We
Yeah.
didn't even put, some people will put toppers on them, but we thought they were just perfect as
Yep.
they were.
In fact, of the time we took a Travato K on a national parks tour for 9 months. There's the
Yeah.
Froley. He's showing the Froley sleep system under
Yep.
there.
Yep.
That does two things. It keeps the mattress up off of the deck, so that if you're, let's say you're someone who sweats in their sleep or something, it's going to let the mattress air out. And then it's also some
Nice.
sprung comfort. So it's two functions of that. But sleeping in the Travato K was one of the highlights of this floor plan for me, because we have a Travato G, a different floor plan, and
It's
I
got
love
a
her, but
tiny bed in the back corner.
sleeping like this all the time is
I like to call it romantic. Others might call it cramped. But when we had the K for our national parks tour, it was just such a treat to be able to spread out and have that huge bed space.
Oh, your camera, he's looking in the cabinet there. I don't know if he can get a clear shot of that little black nub that's on the roof of that on the ceiling of that cabinet. There's a little that is, if he can get a shot of it, yes,
There it
that black
is.
spot.
Look at
Yep.
that.
That is a port. This is something that Winnebago has done that we think is just genius. So that is a roof access port. So I still have a full-time job. I have a day job. And I need to be able to work when I'm on the road.
Sure.
And the Travato makes this easy by including that port. What it is, you pull out that plug and there's a little box on the roof. So if you need to install a Wi-Fi booster, a cell booster, whatever, Winnebago hasn't presumed to decide for you which one you're going to get, because the technology changes every couple of years and you're going to want a new one anyway. They have just given you an easy and convenient way to get through to your roof and to mount an antenna without drilling.
So there's a
that.
hole for you up to the roof, so you can mount your antenna there for your, we have a cell booster in ours.
Yeah, and even when we had ours on loan for 9 months touring national parks, I went ahead and made that mod, because you're not going to drill a hole in someone's RV that you borrowed, right? That
Right,
would
sure.
be rude. But with the roof port, I just popped the cover out, and I was able to get my cell booster up on the roof, and I was good to continue working while we were on the road.
So it's a small thing, but it's such a thoughtful thing. And that's one of the things we love about Winnebago, is that they're always listening to their customers, and they add these little touches like this to just make RVing so much more convenient.
Yeah, and I love that the camera is shooting that wide open shot. And if we can go back to the spaciousness when you see it, and you guys shoot your videos, I didn't know that you were shooting your videos in a Class B. That's how big it looked behind you, with the microwave, with everything and all the conveniences right there. But it looked like such a big, look at how big that is. You're able to shoot those videos and not feel cramped. I didn't see two people cramped inside. And James, I wanted to ask you, how tall are you?
I'm about 5'10", 180, 185, so I'm normal size.
I didn't want to get into weight or personal things, but but I'm just saying, you're 5'10", almost 6 feet tall, and seeing you on your videos in your Class B, I've never got the feeling that you felt cramped in there.
No.
Yeah.
And we don't really. And some of that, it is a smaller space. There's no denying that. But if you design it smart like this, like the rear bath, that's another thing that really opens that floor plan up, is they've taken the bath, the wet bath, and they've pushed it all the way to the back.
Yep.
So basically, a lot of Class Bs, they'll have, in Europe, they call it a wasp waist. They'll have like a side bath, and that pinches the floor plan down somewhere in the middle of the coach. And that makes it feel a lot more
Closed, a lot smaller.
Yeah. But here, now we're back in the wet bath. And
it's a clever use of space, right over the toilet there. That is a sink. If you can grab that handle there and pull down, you'll see.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
that.
a sink, and then it just pulls out. So isn't that a wonderful use of space? You've got it if you need it. Otherwise, you can just get it out of the way.
Yeah. And putting it at the back, it really opens up the floor plan, and it gives you honestly a little bit of a bigger bath than you
Yeah.
would get on the side. You know, if you've ever been on a Class B side, but you know, sometimes you feel like you have to stand like this because the van curves as it goes towards the top. So by putting it in the back, you've got kind of the whole width of the back there. So there's the sink,
Yeah.
and right below that is the commode.
Right.
And on the other side,
The other side is that huge cabinet. Now, I loved this. We didn't have this in our G floor plan. That cabinet right there is so deep, and you can get so much. I probably could got everything in our G floor plan just in this one cabinet. It's wonderful. And again, you know, space is precious in these things. So you get a
Exactly.
cabinet this big. It's pretty exciting to have, especially in a floor plan that already feels so spacious. And below that huge cabinet is some drawers. In our case, when we had this model, we actually cut a hole in the bottom drawer there, and we made a litter box hidey hole space for our
Oh.
cat, Mel.
I like
Yeah,
So
we
that
j-
was Mel's litter box right there. So anybody who has a cat, this is the floor plan you want to check out, because you can have a hidden litter box right there.
we
under that
asked
cat.
before I made that mod. We asked him.
Well, James, Steph, I have to bring it up because everyone I talk to, they start looking at a Class B that doesn't have experience with them. They get a little weirded out by a wet bath. I mean, did you ever have any issues with it at all? I mean, were you okay with it? Coming from
Yeah.
someone, if they're brand new, tell them that, maybe it's not so bad, or are there, some hangups with it?
We actually felt the same way.
Yeah, we
first
understand.
Our very first Class B had a dry bath. It had an actual separate shower, which was very unusual
Yes.
for Class B.
Yep.
And we actually thought that might be one of our criteria when we went shopping for a new van. We don't want a wet bath. That's just weird. But after we got a wet bath, because it had literally everything else we were looking for, after we got a floor plan that had a wet bath, we realized
This is not a problem.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah. So a wet bath just means you're going to shower right over everything else. The toilet, everything's going to get wet there. That's a wet bath. And it turned out to not be a
Yeah.
problem at all, which was surprising for us. We thought we were going to have a problem with it.
Yeah, and when I
But
see
it just
that,
works.
when I see that floor plan, and I've opened up the back doors, and how convenient is that to be able to just get it all cleaned out if you want to, and clean it up and get it all sparkling, shining again. It seemed to be so perfect and convenient and easy to do.
It is a lot easier to clean from the outside. I will say that. So,
Definitely.
and we know some people, their exterior showers on these. Some people will sort of like blanket that area off, and you can use it as an outdoor shower if you're someplace where that's appropriate, like at a remote trailhead or something.
Yep.
People will do outdoor showers in a Class B. But getting back to the wet bath, it's really not that big of
Yeah.
a deal once you just. It was more of a mental thing for us. Plus, the other thing is in our Class B floor plan. Remember, Class Bs are small. In that shower stall, when we had that shower stall, it was full of stuff. We used it as a storage space. And so in order to take a shower, we had to take this out and find someplace and take that. And then we had stuff all over the rig just in order to be able to use it, because
Yeah. So it wasn't all that great having the dry bath. But yeah, there's always going to be give and take with a Class B, because you have only so much space to work with. And if you're going to have a dry bath, that's going to take away some of your space that could have otherwise been living space. So I like this wet bath concept. It means there's more space for the living area.
yeah, a dry bath shower is a lot of space to dedicate for something you're not going to use very often.
And there it is right there. When they open the doors, you see how convenient that is. That's one of the things I loved, Ian, when we were looking at this. And I want to open every door. I want to open every cabinet. I'm with you, Steph. I want to know where all my space is. I want to know how I'm going to utilize every inch of this, because when you're in a Class B, space is key. And I really enjoyed the convenience of opening up the back doors and going, I don't have to worry about. My wife tells me to go clean the bathroom. No problem.
Well,
It's
and
done.
also there on the back door, there's a bike rack.
Yeah.
So that one's right from Winnebago, that bike rack. So, it's well supported. We don't like, a lot of people will say, well, can't you just, we're picky about our bikes, as you may have gathered from all the cycling talk earlier.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't like the bike racks that mount in a trailer hitch.
Yeah.
Your bikes are closer to the ground. They're going to bounce around a lot more. It's harder on the bike. They're closer to road grime, dirt, salt, dust, whatever might, and plus you might back into something with them hanging out on the hitch, right? And then if you've got a fancy bike like we do, then you've really messed up a fancy bike. I like this bike rack is a little bit higher, so it's not going to bounce as much, and it holds the bike, by both the wheels and a spot on the frame, so they don't bounce around a lot. And it comes right from Winnebago. The trays adjust to bikes of different wheel length, wheelbases. You can adjust it depending on the wheelbase of your bike.
And there's the ladder on the other door, and that's the removable ladder, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little screw on that ladder. If you unscrew it, you can actually pick that ladder up and put it on the side of the van, and then you can climb up there. And a lot of people will store stuff on top of their vans.
That
kayaks.
ladder is just brilliant. It might be hard for him to show with one hand on the camera, but
it is
there's
movable.
there's a little star knob there, and you would unscrew that, and then that whole ladder just picks up, and then you walk anywhere down the driver's side of the rig, and you can hook it into the roof rack.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we're real close to that. And when he shows the camera angle and you go up to pan to the left there, you'll see that the hooks on top of the ladder are able to hook in anywhere along that drive. That's awesome. I mean, what a great convenience to have to be able to put something up on top for storage too.
Yep.
And you can still get to it.
And to clean the solar panels that are up there too.
Yes.
So it's another way to just clean off your panels or any kind of access you need up there. Very handy.
Yeah, you got to be careful walking around on the roofs of these Class Bs. You don't want to dent them, right? You got to be careful. And so having this ladder that you can put literally anywhere along that length is really helpful.
Yes.
So that's one of those really smart, cool things that we like about the Winnebagos.
Now, Steph, James, I know you guys also said that once in a while you will tow a trailer behind with some extra bikes in it. That's one of the other things, with a Class B, as we talked about, a lot of times you don't have to bring another vehicle, but it does allow you to do things. So you still have a hitch there. So if you want to bring extra gear with you, you have the capability to do it.
Yeah, and so you may have seen a cat photobombing us from time. He's finally taken a nap. He's right over there.
Love it.
That's Mel, the reluctant adventure cat. Yeah, I don't think he knew what he was in for. He adopted us. He just climbed out of a tree in our yard and refused to leave. And so we kept him.
I love it.
And when we started traveling with Mel with 4 bikes and a cat and a box, something had to give. And so on those trips where we take 4 bikes and the cat
and the litter box,
we bring the trailer.
Right.
And it's an easy tow. We hardly notice it. There's plenty of power. We're showing the cab here. There's plenty of power in the ProMaster to be able to pull a trailer like the small one we do, for sure.
I did notice these seats, off topic a little bit. So when we got our Travato, we had to get cloth seats. There wasn't the option to get these leather type seats. So this is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up having to recover our Travato seats ourselves, which was
not fun.
A terrible job that James had to do. One of the hardest mods you'd ever done, right?
Yeah.
It was, so this is wonderful. They're now offering that as an option. We didn't have that.
Yeah,
wow,
one of the things for 2021 that we've seen with a lot of our new vehicles coming off the line is truly remarkable. And if you are just joining us, we're talking with Steph and James of the Fit RV, and they're taking us through this amazing Class B. You've taken us on the road. You've given us some amazing recipes and places to go. I want to go back to your beautiful cat for just a second, because this can't be just passed up. You had the custom litter box in the back that was so perfect.
Yes.
Does Mel take to the road easily? Did you find that easy taking a pet on the road with you in the Class B?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
But we started him small.
Yeah, he was very young when we started. He's also leash trained. He walks on a leash with a harness.
Oh, nice.
When we go out.
Yeah.
And he's seen some incredible things.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you ever want to blow a cat's mind, take him to what we talked before about Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Pull up to a prairie dog village with hundreds of prairie dogs popping out of holes, and then open the sliding door. And
Mel doesn't get out of the van. He's scared. He's a scaredy cat. So he just sits in the van, but he watches, all freaked out at these little creatures.
His mind.
Yes.
So you might think he's freaked out, but Mel might be enjoying that. And next time you go back, he's like, "What are we going to see? The cats or the dogs? Prairie dogs."
Yeah, he's seen way more than most cats would bother
Yes.
to.
He's seen the ancient ruins at Mesa Verde National Park. He
Oh.
overlooked those. And yeah, he's had some pretty incredible adventures for a cat.
Now,
Yeah, but the key is start them young. And one of the things we did for anyone who's looking to try to RV train your cat, one of the things we did that I think was just critical is park the RV in your driveway and just let the cat hang out in it so that he gets to know the space
Good
Yep.
point.
before it starts moving and becoming an earthquake.
Yeah.
that makes
That
a lot of
once he's
sense.
already familiar and comfortable and he's got like a hidey hole he likes to go hang out in or something, then you can try to take him on the road. But let him get comfortable first.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was going to ask how he did when you guys went out cycling, if he did okay. But, like you said, if he's comfortable with the space, he'll probably do just fine.
Yeah, no, usually when we go out cycling, he crashes out.
Yeah, he goes into nap mode until we get back to entertain him again.
Look at this fold-up
Oh, they're
table.
showing the flip-up
Yes.
table. That was a favorite of Mel's, actually.
Oh, yes. I really like that spot too. So when you rotate the seat around, the passenger seat around, then you've got this table here, your own little workspace. And actually you can rotate the driver's seat around and there's a little pull-out cutting board
kind of thing.
What?
It's enough for a cup of coffee. Yeah, see, right over the microwave there.
You can pull that out. And so you can both be working from those very comfortable
Wait a
front-
minute. When we start talking
Yeah.
about convenience and space, and you can turn, I didn't even think about the
Yeah.
passenger seat turning all the way around, the driver's seat turning on, the captain's chairs
Yes.
turning all the way around. Having those tables there, oh my gosh. I mean, talk
Yeah,
about
and they
that's
flip really easily.
amazing.
They're very comfortable.
Yeah, it's good to have that because without that, your main living space is on the beds, right? So without a table like that, if I wanted to get up early and have a cup of coffee, I would have to do it on the bed, and then Steph's trying to sleep right there, and it's not a good situation. But this way, you can go up, get your coffee, and sit up in the front, and not be impinging on Steph's ability to
Yes.
continue to nap in the beds or anything. It's great.
And it does come with another table, a really long dinette table that is stored between the beds. You can kind of see it there between the beds. And so you can set up a table in between the beds as well. So it's not like you don't have table options. You have
Sure.
a ton of table options in this Class B van. So.
Steph, James, quick question for you. One of the questions I often get asked is about lithium, right? When it comes to Class Bs, it's probably more common in, lithium's more common in Class Bs than probably any other motorhome out there. Tell me, did you guys go with lithium option? How was your experience with it?
We have been lithium since, it's coming up on 5 years now.
Yes.
We have had only lithium batteries, and we even dropped the generator, took it out of Lance. So basically, and we have a system that will allow us to even run the air conditioner off of battery power.
Nice.
And that is, having lithium and power like that is a life changer. And what I tell people, it's not just about the air conditioning, it's about toast. Think about if you want toast in your RV, right?
Yes.
You're going to have to fire up the generator, wake up the campground to get electricity to power your toaster. Whereas with a lithium system, you can just push a button, the inverter kicks on, it's nice and quiet, you make your toast, didn't even wake her up. I've made toast.
It's just like being in a home that way. So you can make your smoothies, you can do your juicing, all those things with lithium. You don't even really have to think about it. It just works like a house works, no matter where you are. You could be on the north rim of the Grand Canyon and you can have toast and smoothies not plugged into anything.
Yeah, Ian,
It's
I'm really glad you
wonderful.
brought that up. I mean, lithium is obviously the way to go now. And we're talking about this amazing Class B. This is our partner pick today. Give us a quick trip plan that you guys have coming up in the near future.
Well, we're trying to keep our trips a little closer to home now, just because of, whatever, right? But I think one of our trips coming up is there's a ride on the north rim of the Grand Canyon. You go to Jacob Lake and you can ride I think it's like 60 miles to the north rim of the Grand Canyon. And I've really wanted to do that.
Yes.
And we haven't done it yet.
And it's only 2 hours from our house. We can't believe we haven't done this trip yet. So that is coming up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we also do, on a weekly basis, we'll do date night. That's something you can do with a Class B, a little tougher to do with a Class A or a towable, is you can go to a restaurant, get takeout, drive up to a scenic lookout,
And have dinner.
Have dinner there.
Nice. That's it. Partner picks that's what it's all about. Doing the Class B, and of course, doing it healthy, doing it the safe way, and having a great time and taking care of yourselves while doing it, and bringing your cat with you on the road. James, Steph, we can't thank you guys enough. Our partner pick today, and we look forward to seeing you out on the road. James, I got my road bike, and we're ready to go, my friend.
Let's do it. Bye.
Thanks,
guys.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.